Okay, I'm back. This is the same knot. I haven't taken any additional steps. I just tightened it up a little bit so I'd have some more room to work. So, an interesting thing happened when I tightened it up. My under bite disappeared. You can see the over is still there, but the under kind of disappeared. This might happen to you. It can be confusing. All that happened was the bite fell underneath this part right here. So if you just pull it back up, you can find your bite again. That might happen when you're coming back through on the second half of your expansion pass and you'll have trouble figuring out where it went. That's all it is. Just look for it underneath this X right here and you'll find it. So I have my over, there's my under. Okay, carrying on. So, this is the second step of the first half of the expansion pass, if that makes any sense. So we've exited the knot over, we're going to enter the knot over. And we're going to pick up this knot, this part right here. Just like that. We're actually splitting a pair long ways this way because we're expanding the knot. Another one right there, was trying to hide. Pick that one up. And we exit the knot on the right side. Now this is the first step in the second half of the expansion pass. So we're going to pick up this under and tie it back in because we still have an over and we still have an under. And right now we have 5 bites on the knot. Since we're going for an even bited knot, we need to make a 6th bite, which will be this one right here. That's bite number 6, and as you can see, it ties all the bites in beautifully. Continuing this pattern to split the pair long ways, we're going to go under here, over here, under here, and exit the knot on the left side. Now to complete the knot, we're going to come up alongside the standing end, just like this. Get that twist out of there. Now we have a completed 6 bite, 7 part Turk's head. Now we can begin the interweave process, which I'm going to use the other color to demonstrate. So, what we're going to do is pretend that the red is a continuation of the yellow. Okay? So, we come up alongside the standing end. Now, these are the same line. Just imagine that it just changed color. There's no difference. You can do this with 1 string if you want. I'm using 2 because it's easier to illustrate the interweave. An interesting note about excuse me, about herringbone interweaves. The base color, if you do it in 2 colors, the base color will have 3 bands, and the interweave color, which is the red, will have two bands. So what we're going to end up with is a zigzag of yellow, a zigzag of red, a zigzag of yellow, a zigzag of red, and a zigzag of yellow in this particular knot. If you expand the knot further, you'll have more rows as they go up because you get more parts. So you'll have more interwoven parts to the knot. There's a mathematical sequence for it, which I won't cover here. It gets a little more complicated, but that's an easy way to remember it. So if you want 2 bands of color, tie this base knot. Make sense? Okay, so continuing on. To begin the interweave pattern, we form pairs, just like we did before. So we're following the standing end, where the standing end comes up. We're going over alongside the standing end, we're going under alongside the standing end. The difference is the interwoven knot It's essentially another Turk's head tied inside of this Turk's head. The interwoven knot stays inside of the base knot. So, instead of exiting the knot on the right side, we're actually going to come underneath this X right here. Okay? You'll see more of it, a lot more of it as we go on. It'll make sense. Okay? So now, you're always following, if you're holding your mandrel this way, you're always following the part forward of your interweave working end or running end. Okay? So as we turn the knot to keep working, we're going to begin following this one to form a pair. So we'll go over here, under, over, under. Actually, we're going to go under that X. And this is what I mean by understanding how the knot is constructed. If you're just memorizing an over, under pattern, it's very easy to get lost in the knot if you set it down and have to go work on something else for a minute and come back to it. You'll be stumped, especially once we get further into the knot. You'll look at it and go, where was I? But if you understand how the knot is constructed and the flow of the knot, it's a lot easier to pick back up your work. So if I were to set this down right now, I could pick it back up, and knowing that I'm always following the part that's in front of the one I'm working on to form these pairs, I can just pick it right back up and go, oh, I need to follow this one, so I need to go over, under, over, and then split that pair. And that's what I was talking about when I said I would talk more about splitting pairs on the interweave process. So, we come to our first pair that we need to split, which is these right here. Okay, we're going to go over here, and what we've been doing is just going under the X. But since we have a pair here, we need to split it. Okay, the difference in splitting this pair and what we were doing when we were forming the base knot is that we're splitting this pair perpendicular to the pair. Where if you remember, when we formed the base knot, we split the pair long ways. We went up between them. We would have picked up the one that's underneath these two right here to expand the base knot. That's not what's going to happen here. This is how you get your pattern right here, is by splitting these pairs perpendicular to each other with your working end. It works in a similar fashion with a gaucho weave as well, which I'll do in another video. That's for another day. Okay, so we're going to follow the one that's ahead of our working end. We're going to follow it on down through the knot. Now we've come to another pair right here that we need to split. So we're going to come over this one, under this X, and we're going to split that pair. Continue following the one ahead of it. We've got another pair to split, so we're coming under the X, and we're splitting that pair just like that. Now if you notice, we've got another pair right here we need to split. This is a sticky point for people that are just learning how to do this herringbone interweave. Okay, do I go under this one and then under this one to split it? Or do I go over 2 and then under 2? Or what do I need to do? Well, look at the way the knot is formed. Okay, you can see the herringbone pattern starting to develop. You're getting these V's right here. Okay, you can test it by going, okay, well, if I split the pair like this, what does it look like? Well, it kind of looks wonky because you're covering up one right here. These two are going in at the same place, they're forming a pair. It just doesn't look right. Okay. What you actually need to do is over 2 and under 1. Now I'm against memorizing the process of over 2, under 1, over 1, under 3, which is what this sequence actually is, but I don't like that. I like looking at the knot and understanding how it's formed. If you were to look at it like this, you can see the herringbone pattern very well. Okay, it looks right. Everything is alternating and it looks almost braided. That's how it's supposed to look. And this is a fundamental concept in learning how to tie these knots well and being able to do it from memory. Okay, so that's what it should look like when you split your first pair this way. Okay. Now, just because we split a pair here doesn't mean that we can go over 2, under 2 from this point on. That's not how it works. You see, we still have the base knot underneath. We have to continue the original pattern of going over this one and then splitting this pair under here. Okay. And just like before, whatever you do going one way, you do coming back the other way. My hand signals were backwards there, but you get the idea. So, same exact thing as before. We're going to cross these two here to split this pair, just like that. And there you can see the herringbone pattern starting to develop again. Okay, continuing on with our original pattern, splitting this pair. Now this time we're going to have 3 pairs to split. You can see there's 1, 2, 3. This is what I mean when I say you use 2 different colors. It's a lot easier to see where your pairs are and where you need to split them. And I highly recommend using 2 colors if you're just doing this the first time, because it's a lot easier to see and understand. Okay, so we need to look at this and determine the pattern to split these pairs in order to make the herringbone. Just like before, we're going to cross these first 2, but then we're going to split that pair that way, and that will form our pattern. Okay, you see the pattern developing there? Now we still have a little bit of base knot left, so don't try and go over 2. This will be a sticky point for beginners as well. They'll go, oh, it's over 2, under 2, over 2. Wait a minute, there's no pair to split here. Okay, you still have this bit of base knot left, so you need to go over this one and split this pair right here. Just like that.